we all know what it's like to have a giant booger on our nose and not have anybody love us enough to go, you have a giant booger on your nose. I know that that would upset you if you knew about it. Here's a Kleenex, or like self-manage and go get rid of that booger. If you, and then if you want the booger, like keep it, like color it in, do what you want to do. But we all need that person to go, you know what? Your contribution here is valuable. I know you wouldn't want to say and do these things. This is how you're coming off. I'm telling you this because that's how I came off. And let's, like, if what is true is that you are the things you're saying you are, this isn't the way that you're doing it, and this isn't how it's coming off. So like, let's talk about it and let's figure it out. So I'm just wanting to love everybody enough to tell them they have a booger. And I know they have a booger because I've picked my nose before. So like, here we are. You know what I mean?
Have? Oh man, don't do that.
Sometimes you have to pick your nose. And you know what? You're still younger than me, and I don't want to make this an age thing, but hair starts to happen at a certain part of our age, and I have hairs coming out of it. You have to change up your approach to everything. That's what life is about.
I love your analogy about the booger, right? And I want to sort of like take that and work with it a little bit more, because I think there's a lot that it sort of clarifies. So that booger, like you cannot see your own booger unless you have a mirror, right?
That's right.
So that's like a bias, right? There's something going on in you and you cannot see it yourself, right? Would you not want to know your bias? Of course, everyone would want to know their own bias if it's called a booger, right? And then if you're like out in a cafe and everyone sees your booger, right? And someone points out to you, hey, you have a booger, right? That person does you a service, right? We've all been in a situation where you saw someone having a booger and you're like, oh, am I gonna tell them or not, right?
And they cracked the code. They've gone as far as to break the norm and to be the person for you to tell you that. That's a gift.
That's a gift. That's a gift, right? But if I have that booger and someone gives me that gift, what feelings do I feel when someone tells me, hey, you've been walking around with a booger for like the last 2 hours and everyone knows?
Imagine.
That,
Imagine.
right? That is, yeah. So you get like that's super uncomfortable, like some feelings of like shame or like recognizing that your self-image was not complete, right? That there was something there that you did not know, right? And those feelings are not cool.
So to take that, right, and build on that. So now what happens the next time, right? You're walking down the road and you're
That's sorry. Let's go a little bit further and then continue with the next time, right? So how do people react when they feel those sudden feelings of shame, right? So that incongruity of their like self-experienced identity, right? They, like very often people get defensive, and I notice this in myself as well. Like if I give a workshop and I talk about power and an indigenous person tells me, hey, you skipped over the part of power where I was personally affected, right?
Right.
Oh shit, this was very important and I skipped over it. And I react defensively myself. I've done this in the past. I know this is true, right? I'm not proud of it, but it happened. Right? And the same with the booger. If someone tells you, hey, you have a booger, at first when you hear it, you're not happy.
And so the thing I wanted to add to that, though, was that so now the next time you're starting to get a booger, right? So now you've had someone call you out on your previous booger, and you start to notice that you're getting another one. What I'm suggesting is that we start to feel those same feelings from that previous experience of booger, and then we start out from that place. So now, and I don't want to compare boogers to Indigenous folks, but I want to compare it to your example. So now the next time you're in a space, and you may not even be interacting with people who are Indigenous, but that feeling of all that internal humiliation or shame or guilt or whatever it was that you were feeling about that could be a trigger, right? That forming, like, so just being in those spaces could be triggering that sense of like, I really messed up, blah, 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 blah. And what I'm saying is that we need to be able to catch ourselves and go, okay, so now that I know that this booger is forming, how do I stop it from forming in the first place? How do I become aware that this is starting to, and how do I take steps to make sure it doesn't develop into something that somebody has to come to me and say,
Hey,
you know
booger.
what I mean? Yeah.
That's it. That's it. And so there's different moments where people have to do work, right? So the first one is, I think, like, I mean, ideally, you're not developing a booger in the first place, I guess, but we all develop boogers. We're humans, right? We all have noses. Is your nose starting to get itchy with all this talk about boogers? Mine is a little bit. I'm like,
My beard is out of control right now, but yeah.
so, but we all develop boogers. We all make mistakes, right? So then, if someone points it out, we have to deal with those feelings of shame and guilt in the moment when people point it out, right? And that's some work we got to do. And then after it has been pointed out and we have received it, hopefully in a good way, we need to sort of integrate that new knowledge, right, in what we do. And we gotta, as you said, we gotta keep working on those feelings and make sure that whatever feelings we have, that we use that to motivate us or to feel good about preventing boogers from developing the next time, so we actually learn from the feedback.